Hey, yo, what up? It's your boy. Glorious day, ladies and gentlemen. Japan has come through with a rare W. Because I think, I don't have to tell you this up front, that, Japan in a lot of ways is very behind the times. Conservative is one way that some people might use to describe Japan. Just behind the times and oblivious to the changing world surrounding them across the ocean is another way that I would like to put it more as. But it seems like today it is time for Japan to grab that long-awaited W. But before we hop into that, let me tell you about the sponsor for this video, good folks over at The Ridge, who have got these nice, sleek, minimal, metal-plated wallets that fit nicely in that front pocket. Durable, don't eat it, but it's an amazing wallet for your traveling needs. I use this all across the States when I was on tour. Make sure to use my link, ridge.com/Joey. Using that link to buy anything over at The Ridge helps your boy out and also helps the channel out. So again, make sure to check that out. Link is in the description below, but let's jump right into how and why Japan has received their rare W. According to this news article right here and a number of news articles that have made their way across Japan very slightly and subtly, Tokyo government begins recognizing same-sex partnerships. Yes, it is a bit of a shocker to anyone who doesn't know about the intricacies of, governmental things like that in Japan, but would you be shocked and surprised if I told you that, no, Japan has actually not yet legalized gay marriage? And here is where the collective gasp happens. But excuse my sarcasm, because, it's, again, another big reason why Japan has been said by a lot of other people outside of Japan that they're kind of behind with the times. It's time to step it up. This should be normal shit right now. And finally, Japan is heading in the right direction. It says here that Tokyo Metropolitan Government's revised ordinance recognizing the partnerships of sexual minorities took effect Tuesday, which is about a couple of weeks ago as of me recording this video, joining several other prefectural governments in equally treating sexual minority couples in administrative and other public services, which is basically a fancy governmental way of saying maybe we should start legalizing gay marriage. Do we need to give a certain reason as to why we need to do that? No, other than the fact that gay and lesbians and, anyone who is not straight in Japan deserves just as much of a support in their marriage and life choices as anybody else does. And to that I say, fuck yeah, Japan, you finally came through. Japan does not legally recognize same-sex marriage, but couples who obtain a certificate under the so-called Tokyo Partnership Oath System will be able to, for instance, apply for municipal housing and include their children's names on their partnership certificates. Despite the increase in the number of Japanese municipalities recognizing same-sex partnerships in recent years, Japan remains the only group of 7 countries not to do so at the national level. So, it's this news isn't exactly Japan has finally legalized gay marriage, but it is definitely a step in the right direction where now, at a municipal kind of prefectural level, some parts of Japan are finally getting with the times and being like, all right, you know what, we will give you guys access and support to all of this. Think of it as kind of the equivalent to when the US finally legalized the use of medicinal marijuana, for instance, right? Like, it's not exactly at like a nationwide level, but it starts off small. It starts off statewide, and then hopefully eventually down the line, more and more areas will start to come to. The launch of the system must drive social change, Sayoko Yamamoto, who heads activist group Partnership Act for Tokyo, said at a press conference. Let the system serve as a catalyst to spearhead efforts to achieve a society where sexual minorities are equally protected. Fuck yeah, Soyoka. It's so many people, I'm sure, who are watching this video are fucking down for that, dude. Finally, they're just like, yes, we finally have someone up at a position of power who actually understands the natural progression of the human race. Thank God. While praising the significance of the move, Fumino Sugiyama, a co-chair of Tokyo Rainbow Pride, which organizes the capital's yearly LGBTQ Pride events, said there are 3 kinds of legislation still needed to improve conditions for sexual minorities in Japan. And this part is definitely important, so listen up. 1 is the freedom to marry. The other is a ban on discrimination. And the third is easing the conditions required for gender reassignment. Sugiyama said, referring to the sterilization procedures that transgender people people in Japan must undergo if they seek to legally change their gender. And, you know, it's a real shame, if anything, because I believe, and this is no statistics whatsoever, but just from living in Japan, or especially living in Tokyo and big cities, it is very obvious, and also, you know, while watching Japanese TV and stuff like that, that there are indeed a large majority or a large group of those who identify in the LGBTQ groups. And, you know, it is kind of a shame that they weirdly have to kind of like live in secrecy, I guess, or like live kind of not exactly like, you know, under the rug type of thing, you know, not like hiding away from the fucking FBI or anything like that, but definitely there is still this very bad stigma revolving around the LGBT community here in Japan because of a number of reasons. Because, you know, for one, Japan is very much still a conservative country in a lot of human rights movements and stuff like that. And two, again, it's the whole problem of the aging population and just the older generation. A lot of people in the older generation just kind of not fucking with that shit, you know, like just not understanding it, not being open-minded enough, and still kind of stuck in their past ways. And this is not something that is necessarily, in my opinion, just is unique to the older people of Japan. Not to say that every old person in the world is like that, but, you know, it is without a doubt, there are a lot of people like that. And there are still a lot of people, even in our generation, who are like that as well. In June, the Osaka District Court dismissed a damages lawsuit claiming the government's denying same-sex couples the right to marry is unconstitutional, but the Sapporo District Court ruled last year the government's failure to amend laws to recognize same-sex marriages violates the right to equality. So as you can see, it is still very much in contest in terms of, you know, does it break human rights laws? Does it not break human rights laws? And I think anyone with a sensible mindset can tell you, yeah, it fucking breaks human rights laws. I think there's no question about that. Noting a ruling on another damages lawsuit slated to be handed down on November the 30th by the Tokyo District Court, a member of the Partnership Act of Tokyo said, with the new system, the Tokyo government has acknowledged same-sex partnerships and will have a tremendous impact on court decisions going forward. And this is something that we've been seeing a lot of recently. There was a famous case, I believe a couple of years ago, when it came to tattoo artists here in Japan, where up until recently, tattoos artists were considered in the medicinal field and in the doctorate field. And it was this weird thing where, legally speaking, tattoo artists in Japan could not actually be tattoo artists legally, could not do tattoos on other people without some kind of doctor's certificate, which I know sounds absolutely stupid, and that's because it fucking is. But there was this very famous case that happened where one of these tattoo artists actually went to the highest court, the Supreme Court here in Japan, to fight on behalf of all tattoo artists in Japan to be like, no, this is absolutely stupid. Yes, it is a cosmetic thing, but we do not need to go to fucking 9 years of doctor's college and get our doctorate in order to do some tattoos. Like, that is stupid. And thankfully, after many, many years of going to court and fighting for it, he won. And so now the whole thing of you have to have a doctor's certificate or a doctor's license, I guess, to be a tattoo artist has just completely diminished in Japan. But just even something like that, the fact that that only happened a couple of years ago in the 21st century just goes to show you that Japan still has a long way to go in terms of catching up with the rest of the world. But with the tattoo artist case and this new step forward for a lot of these prefectures, finally recognizing the, you know, same-sex marriage things happening in Japan, I think it's a great fucking thing. First of all, you know, I have friends who are in the LGBTQ community, and especially in Japan, I feel that they have kind of a more of a difficult time, especially when it comes to just like living in Japan as an LGBTQ member. With a population of over 14 million, Tokyo is by far the most populated jurisdiction in Japan to implement such a system for sexual minorities, including lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender people. The metropolitan government began accepting applications for a partnership certificate under the new system in mid-October, with applicants having the choice to conduct the process online to protect their identities, which it's kind of bittersweet when it's put like that, you know, because at the end of the day, there is, again, still this kind of horrible stigma around this kind of thing, which, and there shouldn't have to be, you know, it fucking sucks. It's almost like Japan is still stuck in like the 90s AIDS epidemic, you know, where like there was this horrible stigma that was happening amongst the LGBTQ community where they had to kind of hide away. It's kind of sucks to say that a lot of people still in Japan still all kind of hold similar mentalities towards that kind of thing. As of Tuesday, 115 such certificates has been issued, according to the Metropolitan Government official. 9 Japanese prefectures, Aomori, Akita, Ibaraki, Tochigi, Gunma, Mie, Osaka, Fukuoka, and Saga, have already introduced a partnership system for sexual minorities. And, you know, 9 might not seem a lot, but 9 out of 47 is still a good fucking number, especially considering that up until a couple of years ago, that number was pretty much close to 0. So now when you go onto the Tokyo Metropolitan website right here, there is a full-on just system implemented for those who actually want to apply online. And as you can see here, there is an English version of the user guide as well. So foreigners living in Japan are fully able to utilize this system as well, which is fucking fantastic. Essentially, the system first works where you, submit an application through to the Tokyo prefectural government. And then once that is approved, then you are legally able to gain support and get recognition essentially for your same-sex marriage. And it seems like a really simple method, I think, that the at least the Tokyo prefectural government has done. And it says here, as of the 8th of November, just last week, with me recording this video, already 170 couples have been legally binded by the Tokyo prefectural government. And I feel that with the spread of this news, this number is just going to keep increasing, because again, there are a lot of members of LGBTQ who, especially in Tokyo, who are kind of wanting this and who have been waiting for something like this for a very, very long time. And you know what? Again, Japan coming through with a strong W. I hope that the W just keeps on going. This becomes more of a recognized thing, and is a big reason why I kind of wanted to make this video, to tell you guys, hey, Japan, for once, is taking a step in the right fucking direction. Thank God, finally. So again, if you are someone who is living in Japan or who wants to live in Japan, who is part of the LGBTQ community, you know, I think this is a great resource for you guys, and definitely a step in the right direction of having a lot more of a comfortable life living in Japan. Obviously, this isn't going to alleviate every single problem of living in Japan. You know, there's still going to be some hardships, but goddamn, it has become, from the looks of it, way easier. So for anyone who is interested, I'll leave the link to this municipal website where you can, check out the English version of the user guide down in the description below. And yeah, again, let's do a small golf clap for Japan. Finally got that W. Thank God. But let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. And thanks for watching. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to smack my face right here to subscribe to the channel. Let's keep making big channel number go bigger. And over here next to my head is a couple more videos you can check out if you enjoyed this one. All the links to my social medias are down in the description below as always. And I will see you all in the next one. Peace.